For a while now, the big question around AI has been, what can this stuff even do? But honestly, that conversation's over. Today, the question is way more urgent. How do we stop just playing around with AI and start getting real, measurable impact from it? So, let's break down how the smartest organizations are making that massive shift right now. And if you want to understand the urgency, just look at this. The telephone took half a century, 50 years, to get to 50 million people. Generative AI reached double that number in just 2 months. This isn't just another tech trend, folks. It's a tidal wave, and its speed is completely rewriting the rulebook. This quote from a CIO really hits the nail on the head. It gets to the absolute heart of the problem leaders are facing. By the time you've finished a careful study of a new AI tool, it might already be out of date. The old playbook, that slow, careful, step-by-step adoption, it's broken. So what's really happening here?
Well, this moment is completely different because innovation isn't a straight line anymore. It's compounding. It's this accelerating force that just builds on itself faster and faster.
The best way to think about it is like a flywheel, right? Better tech makes new apps possible. Those apps create mountains of new data. That data brings in more investment, which builds better infrastructure, which then lowers the cost for everyone and sparks even more ideas. Every single part of this cycle makes every other part spin faster. It's a self-reinforcing loop, and it's why the gap between the leaders and the laggards is growing like crazy.
Okay, so if innovation is compounding that fast, what does it mean for businesses on the ground? It means this isn't about just tweaking things anymore. This is about rebuilding from the ground up. And according to Deloitte, there are 5 huge strategic shifts that every single organization is dealing with right now.
And don't get me wrong, this rebuild is happening basically everywhere. The scale of this change is just staggering. Only 1%, just one, of IT leaders say that AI isn't forcing them to make major changes. Think about that for a second. This is a nearly universal transformation.
So what are these forces driving the rebuild? Well, first we're seeing AI go physical. Think autonomous robots in warehouses and drones making deliveries. Then there's what Deloitte calls the agentic reality check, where companies are literally managing a silicon-based workforce of AI agents. Of course, all this leads to a huge reckoning over infrastructure costs, a total rebuild of the tech org itself, and that constant AI dilemma. You have to use AI to fight off threats that are, you guessed it, also powered by AI.
So that's the high-level strategy, the view from 30,000 feet. But what does all of this actually mean for the people who are building and running this technology every single day? Let's zoom in and shift our focus to the engineers on the front lines, because their world is changing faster than anyone's.
We are deep in the era of AI-led engineering now. The very definition of what it means to be a software engineer is being completely rewritten in real time.
And look, this is not some distant future we're talking about. Gartner predicts that while fewer than 14% of engineers were using AI code assistants at the start of 2024, that number is going to hit 90%, 9-0, by 2028. That's not a gradual shift, it's a rocket ship. The way software is built is changing right now as we speak.
So, the role of the engineer is evolving. From being a writer of code to being an orchestrator, their job is becoming less about typing out every single line and more about guiding these incredibly powerful AI tools. They're focusing on the big picture, problem solving, system design, and, this is the most important part, making sure the AI delivers high-quality, secure results. Human judgment is actually becoming more critical, not less.
This quote from Microsoft's Ragini Singh just puts it so perfectly. Your job title might not change, but the job itself, it has. So what does it actually look like to make this transition inside a huge company?
Well, Microsoft's own internal IT organization gives us a fascinating peek behind the curtain. It's a ground-level look at how this kind of transformation actually happens, not as a theory, but as a deliberate human journey. And they didn't do it with some grand top-down mandate. Instead, they saw it as a journey with 5 phases. It started simple, with just awareness and access, making the tools visible and easy to try. Then came the really crucial part, a culture shift, to normalize AI as a partner. From there, it was about upskilling their people, embedding AI everywhere, and finally, using it to eliminate toil so people could focus on what matters.
The first hurdle wasn't technical at all. It was emotional. The engineers were skeptical, even a little scared. But as they were encouraged to just play with the tools on small, low-risk stuff,
something amazing happened. As Mukul Singhal puts it, the whole mindset started to shift from AI might replace me to, hey, AI can be my companion. And this quote shows you when they really hit the tipping point. The question in the hallways changed from, will this AI thing even work, to, wow, AI is working for me. That's the magic moment. That's when skepticism turns into real belief, and adoption just takes off on its own, because people can feel the value in their day-to-day work.
And this is so important. Microsoft realized pretty early on that the goal couldn't just be about usage numbers. Getting people to use a tool isn't the win. The real goal was impact, freeing up their engineers from all the repetitive junk so they could focus their incredible talent on the complex, creative problems that actually matter.
And that right there brings us to the ultimate payoff in this whole transformation. It's all about moving from that soul-crushing toil to true, meaningful impact.
I mean, this quote from Beth Garrison says it all. The killer app for AI, the thing that really gets people on board, it's not some futuristic feature. It's toil reduction. It's when you can show an engineer that this technology will get rid of the most draining, boring, frustrating parts of their job. That's when their eyes light up. That's the real catalyst for change. So, we've used this word toil a bunch. Let's be really clear about what it is. Toil is all the work that has to get done, but doesn't actually create any new value. It's the manual troubleshooting, the repetitive diagnostic checks, the hours spent digging through logs after something breaks. It's all that necessary but draining work that AI is just perfectly built to automate.
And here is where we come completely full circle. Getting rid of that toil is the fuel for that innovation flywheel we talked about at the very beginning. When you free up your most talented people from that grunt work, all their energy and creativity can be pointed at higher value problems, new designs, better architecture, solving the next big thing. The benefit on the ground directly powers the strategy at the top.
Which leaves us all with the most exciting question, really. This whole transformation isn't really about the tools. It's about unlocking human potential. It's about elevating what we're capable of. So as AI takes over more and more of the routine, what incredible problems are we going to solve next?